Folks, hello and welcome to Talking Crit. I am one of your hosts, Eric Tenkar, a bartender in the OSR. To me, stage right, is my once a week work spouse, Bad Mike Battalato. And below us, only because
we like to be on top. It's gonna be so bad tonight. It's just gonna be. Let's just get it out of the way. It's gonna be so bad.
All right, Mike, you just blew. All right, so you're now.
So
speechless.
We'll try again. It's gonna be so bad. It's gonna be so bad. So these guys look like they're on the X Files. These guys below us look like they're on the X Files episode. This is Matt. Matt, say hi.
Hi.
And then Eddie, say hi. Eddie.
Hello.
Okay. And these gentlemen, they run the convention known as LongCon, which is in Longview, Texas. Now, what year is this going to be coming up in a few weeks here, in a month? Year 6, really? Holy crap. Okay, well, year 6, and they run a wonderful, wonderful small con out in East Texas. What about, 400, 500 people right in the range, or am I giving you too much credit? No.
It's about 40 RPGs.
Yeah, but we love these guys because they were inspired to do their con with Doug and I. What we did with our con, they brought that to East Texas, and for a while they had 2 cons. They had one in the spring and one in the fall.
Really?
And yeah, that went great. I still have my T-shirts though. But they stayed with the fall version. Now went to all the spring ones. I think I've maybe been to half the. I've been to like 2 or 3 of the fall ones. I know I missed a couple. I missed 2. Okay, I only did to 2. But it's great. I went last year. It's wonderful fun. We're going to talk to them. We're going to try to pimp their con a little bit. If you happen to be in Texas or anywhere nearby, you don't have to be in Texas. You could be in Louisiana, or you could be in Canada. You could be in Canada and drive down. I mean, there's going to be a lot of people there that go to North Texas, and if you're into the North Texas gaming scene, there's a lot of people that are going to be there. Ty Beard should be there. I think Zach Glazer's going to be there. My brother's going to be there. Robert, who runs the Chariot Races and Gladiator. Gary's going to be there. Gary Oliver, who runs North Texas with me.
Carl's going to be there.
Carl the skeleton will be there.
Oh shit!
But no, a lot of the people. If you go to North Texas, there is a ton of crossover here. A lot of the people that go to North Texas will be there.
Bill Barsh.
Oh yeah, the Barshes are coming. Man, that's a long drive for him. I don't know, or flight or whatever.
Probably flying.
Yeah, probably flying.
Longview, believe it or not, has an airport. It's hard to believe, but we do.
Can you fly into the airport though? Can you fly into it by helicopter? I think Stevie Ray Vaughan died there. Did Stevie Ray Vaughan die there? No, that's the place. Never mind.
We can actually get Brendan LaSalle to come to our con. So
yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. Yes, you have a special. They have special guests. Brendan LaSalle is one. I think I was one last year, but I don't remember.
Hey, you're a special.
It was all a blur. It was a blur. Between the coked up partying and the chicks and the
that's
all the stuff,
it
was
cool,
just.
What are you talking about?
They got kicked out of their hotel last year. We'll talk about that too. They got booted out because it was too crazy. It was too crazy for Longview. So.
Too wild.
Yeah, too wild. So
they'll
be
too hot for Longview.
They'll be in a new venue this year, and well, anyway, that was a long-winded introduction. So welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks. I feel welcome now.
Now, no reason to do the show now. We pretty much covered everything. So
that's pretty much it.
I feel like you guys passed your luck check at least.
That's right.
Listen, Mike, you still have me on. They got kicked out of their hotel, which
it's a funny story. Well, they didn't. Well, they kind of did, really, didn't you guys? You really kind of did. So tell the story, Matt and or Eddie. Tell the story about how
throw them under the bus, Mike. That was a good job. Thank you for.
No, it wasn't. I don't think it was their fault. It was corporate machinations that led to this.
It's weird. I've talked to some of the employees that still work there, and when I have they're all astonished because they were like, "You guys were good revenue for that time of the year, year after year. We sold rooms." Lots of booze, you know.
Well,
Yeah, because they have a bar there. They have a bar. They have a bar there, which is not a lot of Holiday Inn Expresses have bars anymore, but they did. They had, or was it Holiday Inn? Holiday Inn, right?
The Hilton Garden Inn.
Hilton Garden Inn. I'm sorry, Hilton Garden Inn. Yeah, they had a nice little bar there, and
I'll
yeah,
say
it was a good venue.
it actually looks a lot like this.
What, your nipple? What?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
a lot like that. But anyway, but yeah, so no, it was just one of those weird things where right after last year's con, they kind of flat-footed us and said, well, we're going to quadruple the price, and we were like, well, what I'm hearing is you want us out. So we were like, bye, Felicia.
Yeah,
That's pretty much what that means. Yeah, that's a very nice way of telling you we don't want you anymore. Because if you pay, okay, they'll take 4 times the amount. But if you don't pay, then fine. They get whoever they really wanted to be in there. So
They are echoing.
you got a little bit of an echo going on.
somebody's echoing. Is it me or them?
No,
maybe
it's-
it's me.
Is it? No, you got your headphones on.
The
right?
unknown they.
No, it's you guys. You guys are echoing, you bastards.
You might want to turn your speakers down just a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, you know what? It's yeah, because I can hear it when I'm speaking. I can hear the echo. So yeah, it's when we're speaking because you guys.
Sometimes
you
I
guys-
have to. I go without speakers, and a lot of times I without headphones. And I got
Just read my lip. Just start reading. Just read lips. Stop
No,
talking.
won't
Just
read
read
lips.
lips. Yeah.
But, smart ass. The bastard.
All right. So yes, they basically told you, yeah, thanks but no thanks, and so but
GTFO.
there was there was a silver lining or a golden lining out of this.
Solid gold. We looked at each other and said, well, what are we going to do? And we held each other while we were crying. But there was a venue in town that we looked at before, and at that time it wasn't available, and they just kind of brushed us. I don't remember what happened. But anyway, we went back there, and the price, and they were just like, we loved. I guess by that point we built a reputation in the community,
Right.
and so they were like they thought, oh, what a coup, and they were like, please come on. So it's bigger, it's better, it's nicer, it's got more boardrooms. We're getting all the boardrooms. It's just a really neat space. The restaurant's nice. Oh, and without asking, because common sense, we always ask the other venue, like, hey, why don't you send somebody around to take orders for drinks or food? Nah, that's on y'all. If y'all want to do that, you can pay for it. But they're going to send someone around to take orders for drinks and food. So, I mean, what a country, we're really
but that's a win-win for them. I mean, they're making more money.
yeah.
Uh,
Absolutely. So, but and we went back to make sure it wasn't just a fluke or it was a different staff member. And they're still like, and they're like, did we just? And the woman's like, no, I remember you guys, and yes, we agreed to everything you just said, and we can't wait to see you guys in November. And we were like, yeah,
There you
So
go.
what are the exact dates here? We're looking
November 11th, 12th,
13th.
All right.
The
Hey,
hotel
look,
rate ends on the 20th of this month. So
Yeah.
if you haven't booked a room, do it now.
and always book a room because you can always cancel it
Mhm.
within 24, 48 hours and not
Okay.
lose your money. So lock in that rate. It's an insane rate for this quality of room.
Well, look, you have a webpage. That's wow, that's kind of cool because we don't have one
What
for
kind
North
of
Texas.
janky con wouldn't have a website? I mean, come on.
Let's move on from there. So you guys are big. So I've been to a couple of your cons. Went last year. It's an absolute blast, and I don't know if I. So let me tell you about my saga last year. So every year, for those of us who've been on the listen to the show for a while, my wife and I spend the month of November in South Padre Island because we deserve it. Obviously we deserve that. But we work while we're there. We use our laptops. We just like to look at the ocean while we work, and so you get reduced rates. You get reduced off-season rates. I have relatives down there. There's a lot of reasons to get out there. Well, you guys always have your stupid convention in November, so I'm always on the beach, and so I'm not leaving paradise to go to Longview, Texas.
That is paradise.
Yeah, dude.
Maybe barbecue paradise, but
Yeah.
but last year
RPG paradise right here,
That's
baby.
right. That's right.
Zach told me last year. He said, if you come, I'll help you pay for your plane tickets because I don't fly. For those who don't know me, I don't fly. I've flown once since 2001. I don't like flying, but it's a short it's like a little zippy flight. You go from Brownsville up to DFW, and then you drive about an hour and a half. So he said, if you come, I'll drive with you and we'll go together. So I said, okay. So on a Thursday, I guess it was a Thursday, I have to drive to the airport. My uncle's an Uber driver. He takes me there. I get on a little plane, fly up. It's a short flight, like an hour, not even that. And then I get off. Then I take an Uber to my house, and Zach arrives. We get in the car. We drive to Longview, and we're there Thursday night, and we had a blast. You know, we ran a table there. We had a great time. And then, you know, I jumped back on the plane Sunday night. We drove back Sunday night, drove back, and then was down back in South Project to enjoy the beach on Monday morning. It was great. I mean, I missed, you know, 4 days of beach, but, you know, for a whole month, it wasn't bad. But you know what? It was worth it, guys. It was fun. I had absolute blast. It was great seeing Zach there. Pex was there. My brother was there. A lot of the people, you know, like I said, if you're a North Texas guy, a lot of the North Texas people go there. It was fun. And I can't remember if we played any games or not. I think we played in a game. Pex ran a game for us, I think. Other than that, I don't remember being in any games. So.
Well, what about that tank game your friend ran?
My gosh, Ty was there. And he ran he tested his tank combat game, which was awesome.
It looked like all the fun.
We had a blast in the game. And this is a game he's been working on for about 20 years. He won't publish it because he's just, I don't know, lazy. But no, we had a blast. Yeah, we played that one day. That was great. We had a blast. And Ty will be back this year too. So I'm trying to get him to run the game, to run it as an actual event, because it was fun. We had a blast. Now you guys are big DCC guys, right?
What?
You guys are big DCC guys. So,
we work for Joe.
Yeah, we're having breakfast at his house.
Yeah, we're gonna cook him breakfast and comb his hair and play DCC with him soon.
You got Brandon LaSalle's coming this year. I guess he's going to be running DCC.
Absolutely, and it's going to be some experimental games and some new unpublished stuff. Ooh la la! It's like super secret squirrel stuff.
David Beatty
with
the Weird West guy. Weird West guy's going to be
Weird Frontiers.
Weird Frontiers. I'm sorry, Weird Frontiers, not Weird West.
The Weirdest Frontiers.
I have their Kickstarter stuff. It is awesome, man. That was high quality Kickstarter.
That's a massive tome of a book.
Yeah, you could beat somebody down with that book.
It's kind of it's Deadlands, but honestly, I thought I liked it more than Deadlands.
It's got a different twist to it.
Yeah.
And the book could stop a bullet, so
oh my God, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful book, and I have all the extra modules too, so it's very cool.
I'm jelly. I wish I'd got the modules. I got the PDFs though. So.
Hold on a second. Let me walk off screen.
Uh-oh. What kind of co-host just leaves wanders off, and it's the whole warehouse, right? So he's searching the warehouse right now. Michael, come out and play.
Hey, Eric, who did the artwork?
This was Craig Brasco did this artwork.
It's cool.
Yeah, Craig is a great artist. He doesn't do a lot of commissions, only because he's a full-time art teacher. But this is one that he just threw at me, literally. And I was like, Craig? He goes like, oh, it's a gift. I go, holy shit. So I'm the dwarf holding up the jewelry, and the halfling is supposed to be James Spahn, and the human is Jason Paul McCartan. So everybody in this is somebody that I know in a gaming.
Cool. And Bad Mike's under the table, right?
Could be. The serving girl. There's been some people have made guesses as to who she is. I don't know for sure, so I've never made a public guess. I don't plan to.
Well, I couldn't find my Weird Frontier. Sorry, it was in a box that was for a long time was sitting on a table in the next room, but it's gone. So I wanted to show everybody with the nice quality of that. So yes, look, you guys are moving up, man. You actually have some named people. You got some. I mean, yeah, I was there last year, but
that should be enough to sell 1,000 badges right there. Just you alone.
That's right.
I don't travel good. I don't travel well. I don't think.
You know.
I mean, don't make me regret me and Eddie just got those We Heart Bad Mike tattoos, man. Come on.
Oh,
which ass cheeks?
Tramp stamp.
Yeah, tramp stamp. Come
nice. On. Oh, that is going to turn somebody on.
Right,
so
right in the back of the neck.
It's only got to turn one person
That's
on.
Right.
So let me see. It's 7:20. We got to go, guys. So that's
Where's Skeeter when you need him?
Oh my. Well, so tell us a little bit about
the OSR.
So I am a huge fan of small cons. As people know, I don't go to big cons anymore. I'm a huge fan of small cons. Why I love you guys con. Tell us a little bit about the formation of. So you said it's your 6th year. So why did you guys decide to do this? I mean, because honestly, there's not a lot of money in cons, really. I mean, it's kind of. I don't know if you figured that out yet. It's kind of a labor of love, and So just take us to genesis of this.
Okay, well, I will say that we went to NTRPG for several years, and we would always come back and go, we should do a con. We should do a con. And we let that brew for a long time. And it was always like, why do we do this just once a year? We're close enough that we could do this twice a year. And that's why we're kind of spaced out a little bit. Because we wanted more of that NTRPG goodness and to see all these guys. Because really, like you talk about NTRPG as a homecoming, we can do that more than once a year. We can see these cool people that we want to see.
I know we kind of like to think of it as NTRPG Autumn Edition or the NTRPG East or whatever. Because and we've encouraged some of our people to travel further west, and they're coming now to NTRPG, and we see each year more people trickling in from North Texas, which is the dream. We just said, how cool could it be if we could hang out with Gary and Mike and Bill and Kelly and Mike and all those guys more than once a year, so
yeah. And especially being you guys, you have to work your con, so you really don't get to get that good quality hanging out time.
Right.
That's true.
That's talking about with Gary today. I said, like, at the con, you guys are so busy running a con, we can't hang out or chit chat or hardly share a drink without you're running a con, or people want that, don't want to press the flesh or have their 15 seconds or whatever. Y'all guys can actually come to a con and have fun and watch us be miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's very true. When you go to a con, I enjoy myself a lot more most of the time than I do at North Texas, because there's so little responsibility. And you're just there to have fun. You just have a ball.
I love this quote that Mike gave us many years ago. When people come to your con, everybody's having a good time, except for you.
I was right too, wasn't I? I was absolutely right.
You guys warned us not to do it. So
yeah, you warned us off.
Your conscience is clear.
Yeah. But it's one of those things where, like we said, it's for a love of the game. And I know it is for you too, because you guys, no offense, I don't think you guys break even. Maybe I don't know.
We did pretty good once we we're doing all right. We're doing all right now.
But that's like us. We don't make any money, and the few times we've done more than break even, we put it right back into the con. So we're not doing this to make money. We do it for the love of the game, and we love the camaraderie, the homecoming aspect. It's just great to hang out with the people we see.
Mm-hmm.
I don't hurt anybody's feelings if I left somebody out. There's so many people that come to our con and y'all's con that I'm getting a little misty just talking about it,
Yeah, and we definitely wouldn't be here without you guys. And
yeah.
There was a point in time where I was like, Doug has more invested in our con than we do.
That's good.
He's got the financial ownership of this thing. There was lots of times when I picked his brain and seeing you guys and your dynamic, and it's like, what you need to run a successful con is one ex-military guy to do all the work, and then one guy to dance around and take all the credit.
Absolutely.
So I got that from you guys, and it seems like it's working out pretty well.
Anyway, no, it's true too, and what you said about so true about when you go to a different. Well, the great thing about small con though is your responsibilities are much less there than say like a Gary Con, Game Hole Con, or something bigger than that. So it's not terrible. You could find a little time to do your own thing and kind of hang out, especially at night if everything's shut down. There's not quite as much responsibility. And so you guys, you got a few hundred people there. How big do you guys want to get? I mean, do you have a cutoff spot you're
200
thinking
will
of?
be our peak number.
200 is what we're aiming
Really?
for. Actually,
Okay.
we're getting closer than.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
But again, taking influence from you guys, I think you guys capped at 500 originally, right? So we said we'll be maybe half of that, and that's as big as we'll ever want to get.
Yeah.
And like you talked about, I don't like the big cons when I go to the big cons. I've discovered that. I do like this. Like, you invited me into the basement for some gaming.
Yeah.
You've welcomed me into your home.
We've been to a bigger con, and we just feel like we're lost in the crowd, and it's not that good feeling that when our pockets or our con or y'all's con, where it's a more intimate affair, and you know everybody there.
It's cheers. They know your name. They know what your game is. They're like, hey, so-and-so has a slot in this, and I thought of you immediately because I know that's what you like.
Yeah.
So that's the personal touch that we can put on it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's very underrated too, because, I mean, first of all, if you're not having fun at your own con, there's no reason to run your con, because, as we said time and time again, until you break that 1,000-person barrier, you're not really making money. And a lot of us don't want to get to 1,000 people. 1,000's too much. So we're never really going to make money. I mean, like I said, I always say 1,000 people, you charge $80 a ticket. There's $80,000. Boom. You should be doing okay with that. You should be able to run a con for $80,000. But if you're talking 200 people or 300 or 400, that's you're a little lighter than that. And so you're going to have to be, just trying to have a good time, but you're not able just to, blow the farm on it or anything, and serve champagne glasses to everybody that walks in. But
you figure you've got you, Gary, Brian, and there's some other people I know that help behind the scenes. Marshall. Who's the one fellow? I can't think of his name with the mustache. Anyway, but you got
Chris helps. Yeah, Chris is a good. Chris helps us do all the table stuff, take care of the tables. My brother's there to do the chariot racing and that's another thing too. The bigger you get, the more you have to. At a certain point, you got to sit down and say, okay, we need to hire some people, because you have to. I mean, if you get a certain amount of people there,
but you have to make money to hire people.
Well, I mean, you just can't do it. I mean, there's just too much to do. And Gary and I have talked about that for years. How we would like to do less, and but that would involve hiring people, and we don't want to hire people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always hand out the champagne.
That's right.
He gives me champagne. I want to see that contract.
Instead of like just going to some janky room out in the barn somewhere, which people have offered us. They're like, you guys can use our barn and we won't charge you anything. It's like, no. We want this to be a more luxurious experience.
Yeah, it smells so nice in here. Yeah.
That's what we can do better than other cons. We can give you that better experience that way.
Come on, man! You could use our barn.
Exactly.
I could have my spit cup.
You can have a pet the cow game going on here. We got cow tipping at midnight.
That's right.
You guys are doing it right. Like you said, you built up you have a smaller venue, small con. You did pretty well at the last place. You filled it up. I think you said that you're going to have more people than you've ever had before this year?
This is the most we've ever had. Yeah.
We haven't counted the walk-ups, of course, yet, but so far on advanced sales, we've already blown that away. So we've sold more badges. We have more people. And then in tabletop, you can look and see how many looks you've got. So we've gotten more looks this year than ever before. Mm-hmm. So that's that's pretty cool.
That's very cool. Hey,
that's the one thing too. Another thing is, you have to decide, okay, what are we gonna charge? Because this year we're charging $100 for a 3-game ticket, which it's a little high, but for what we provide, I think it's okay because we have like 40 special guests, which is ridiculous. Oh, yeah. So I think you guys have a pretty good. You guys are a pretty good sweet spot. Yeah, we make you guys special guests because we feel sorry for you. So, we feel sorry for those guys. So just make them special guests. Get them a swag bag, whatever. Oh wait, we don't have swag bags. So never mind.
Wait, there's swag bags?
Shh, no, not for you guys. Somebody else get your swag bags. No, but we appreciate you coming every year, like I said, and spreading the word too. Because, what I was going to say is last weekend I went to Lone Star Game Expo, which is over in Grapevine, close to me, and they had almost 400 people registered. They had over 200 walk-ups. They ended up having about 600 people, and that was it was impressive. And the thing is, people want to get back into gaming, and this year really exploded. I mean, we didn't have as many people as we liked in North Texas. We had a little under 400. We thought we would be closer to 500 this year, but I think next year, depending on if we have a giant recession or not, should be a big year. But you guys are gonna, I think you're gonna benefit by this. I think you guys are gonna do really well this fall.
Yeah, I think everybody. I thought at the time everybody was going to be ready to come back out at NTRPG time, but I think that was a little bit earlier. But like you said, with the Lone Star Game Expo, it seems like, okay, maybe people are ready to get back out there again.
I mean, you've got the whole Dallas Metroplex area. That doesn't hurt,
Yeah.
But traditionally there's not any big game conventions around DFW, and it's always been kind of sad ever since Dallas Fantasy Fair folded in the mid '90s. There's just not been any big gaming conventions in DFW, which is weird, but it's true. And so I think people are getting back into gaming, not just DFW, but everywhere. It looks like Gary's going to have a ton of people. I know I talked to Alex Kamer at GameHoleCon, where I'll be in a couple weeks. They had a huge sign up, and so yeah. Now that we're, as Biden said, we're through with the pandemic. I think people are like, okay, cool. I want to go do stuff now. I want to get out there and actually have a convention or go to a convention.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I was at ShireCon last month. That's a small con. It's a one-day con. Tom Wilson, probably
Tom's awesome.
Probably 100 people. But I made it into like a 3-day because I went up on Friday, left on Sunday because we got a bed and not even bed and breakfast. We got an inn around the corner from the convention, which was literally built in 1790. And when we got there, the restaurant's only open from 5 to 8. Honest to God. And we couldn't even check in until we could get somebody that was setting up for the outdoor seating of the restaurant to acknowledge our presence and go, "Oh, you're looking to check in?" I'm like, yeah. And the check-in process was confirming my last name, being walked up to my room, being given a key, an actual key.
Wow.
Not a fob, not a swipe, an actual key to a room that slanted because the building was built in like 1790. So,
Jeez.
yeah, I actually had a stone, for your horses. It had that stone thing with that, like the iron ring on it, so you could tie your horse up in front.
Was like a secret door there or something? You could go down the scary basement, or was
listen, it could be. The food there was very good. We ate dinner there that night. I'll definitely go back. It was expensive, but it was worth it for the 2 nights because I've done ShireCon in the past, and you drive up and back the same day from New York City. Nobody wants a 2-hour drive before you game, a 2-hour drive after you game. I'd rather just be totally relaxed, social with people, play my games, and that's why I like the small cons. That's why North Texas is like the perfect size because it's small enough that you get to know everybody, and large enough that there's so many options of what to do. So.
Well, I saw that
out to long con.
I saw that Tom had a questionnaire about whether everybody would like to come on Friday. So I think he's finally deciding he wants to do Friday, which is awesome.
We had talked about going up too, but it was just a 1 day, so that's a heck of a trip.
Yeah, just for 1 day.
I've told him the same thing. Yeah, if he ever gets to be a weekend, then I'm probably in on that. I got to figure out how to get there without flying, but that's not easy. But it's like a 3-day trip, 3 10-hour days driving or something insane. So I probably would have to fly up for that one. But
you'd have a pickup, Mike. You'd have a pickup.
Mm.
You'd have a pickup. Stay at my house the first night. Then we get you guys out. If you're going with your wife, we'll get you guys to.
Yeah.
We'll stay at the same location, so we don't have to worry about
Right.
it could work. I mean, Falls River is literally one of those. Is it Falls? I think it's Falls River. Falls.
Yeah, Falls Village. Falls
Village, which is right by the river, which has a fall. It is literally a main street that's about a block long. Blink and you've driven through the main part of town, but it's a beautiful part of town. So I will say that. So.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I would like to give Sharkon a try because I'm just impressed by how beautiful it is up there, especially during the fall.
Yeah, looks really nice. So
Lily, thank you for I already bought my tickets for NTRPG Con 2023. Thank you very much. I have Gary. First of all, well, let's put it this way. Gary promised me we'd not only have a website this week, but we'd have games registration. Oh, and he also said he was going to be here tonight. So by the fact he's not here, you can take his other promises with a grain of salt too. But supposedly we're going to have our website up, and we're going to have games being registered by next weekend. So or this weekend. So. By the way, and so when games go up, don't jump all over them and sign up for every game because we have people do that every year. And then when we get all the special guests running games, they're like, oh, I'd rather play an Alan Hammock's game than Eddie's game. And then they just,
I am a special guest.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But you're not
I
as
already forgot
special.
that. Ouch. We have tiers of special guests. We have tiers.
That's true.
So, but no, we had to change. We had to change games because people have to change people playing in games because they're like, oh wait, this better person popped up, and now I want to switch games. So, just remember, if when game sign up comes, be careful. Don't just sign up for every game there is there. Eddie's who is Lily? Eddie is the lowest tier. Good Lord. Eddie, you're taking a beating over here in the comments.
Oh
my God.
Oh, man.
I guess he's trying to lose his VIP status.
Wow, what an ass kicking you're taking.
Who's Lily Lives?
That's Jason. See?
Oh.
You need to get on this guy's case.
They know their own trolls.
Okay.
Yeah, they brought their own trolls. I'm impressed.
Well, duh.
Yeah. Well, normally they would be listening to, our podcast, but
No class.
Oh, yeah.
They have no class.
Well, you guys have now. Tell us about your podcast too. You guys have a podcast also.
We have a podcast.
We have a what?
Yes, not as successful as ours, but it's okay.
It's
The No Class RPG podcast,
and it's fantastic.
What days and times do we got?
Every other Thursday. Tomorrow we'll be recording and it'll be uploaded around just in time for you to listen to dinner.
Yeah.
Nice.
Our editor's pretty quick.
What do you guys talk about?
Pop culture, geek, nerd culture, and then we usually finish with a gaming centric topic.
Like screw Watsy.
I was just going to say, beat me to it. Like our topic last time
There
was,
you go.
what Hasbro needs to
support your friendly local game store because Watsy Bros cutting them out.
Well, guess what's on our subject list tonight? Eric and I we're going to bring you guys in. We're going to bring you guys in because that is something that we wanted to talk about. Also, is that when this all started, when we're going to have 6th edition, we're not going to call it 6th edition. One of the things they promoted was that they had a fact sheet there, and Eric found the fact sheet. It basically, frequently asked questions. What are you going to do for the? Since you seems like you're moving mostly online, what are you going to do for the retail store in here? And so it gave one of those really sketchy answers. It was like, we'll get back to you on that. We're not really sure yet.
Because their whole marketing thing, which they're going to be experimenting with, is we're going to package our physical product with our digital product and bundle it. And if you buy directly, you get a discount.
Sure.
So why would I buy from my local store, my now dead local store, my friendly local game store, which will not be resurrected from the dead, which will be put 6 feet under? Why would I buy from them? Because you're going to give me extra stuff for the same or less money because they'll make more money off it, which is what it comes down to. I understand that. So now, yesterday, Hasbro, little truth behind all this
about game store people.
Yeah. Well, Jeff Talanian sends me a screenshot, and it's literally a shot of a screen from somebody on the trading floor that was sent to him, and it was of an article from Hasbro where they basically end it with direct to consumer is where they expect their profits to be. And direct to consumer means not just your friendly local game store getting told to go F yourself, but it means Amazon too. I mean, you'll be able to go to Amazon and I'm sure get your basic box, get your player's handbook, get your basic stuff. But why would you go to Amazon to get like, I don't know, well, Baldur's Gate 17, the lore of Minx, and get it as a.
I'm gonna go get my Spelljammer box set. Oh wait, I just
fuck you, Mike. I'm sorry. Here, I have to go out and just say that because I know it's still. I know you have it in shrink. I know you because there's no reason to open it, right? There's no reason to open it.
I'm never going to open it. I bought it for the simple fact that it's already been canceled. So I bought it in hopes it'll be collectible soon because he's already canceled it. So we're taking out the Flying Monkeys because somebody might get upset. So I'm like, cool, I'll take one. They were selling this at ReaperCon for 30% off already.
Wow,
30% off. I'll take a trick wrap copy, never open it, and sell it as the banned edition of Spelljammer. Surely I will.
I was never into Magic the Gathering, but I learned that they're pretty much just doing the local game stores just as dirty on that too. Because what is it? The Secret Lairs stuff is where they're reprinting some of the old singles cards.
Oh, really?
And selling that directly to the customers. It'll never hit the game shops. And that's cutting into their, single card purchase. Then they sell the boxes to Amazon at a rate that they can sell a lot easier than your local game store. And that's why they don't set a rate on it anymore. Like, this is the price, the suggested price. Well, no, because they want the game store to be the bad guy and Amazon to be the hero with their cheap price. And when people don't have a place to play any of this later, they'll realize they should have supported the friendly.
Well, but then again, WotC doesn't care where you play it because they want you to play it online anyway. They don't give a shit. They're not interested.
They don't have to print cards in. They'll be virtual cards and your virtual player's handbook and all that.
Right. And if it's a virtual product, if it's PDF or electronic, they can go in and change the lore, change the details, constantly revised. And it's almost like 1984. I don't. Wait a second. Weren't orcs previously? They were never evil. Oh, okay.
Well, sure. That's what I've. Look, my grandson is 18, awesome kid. Who, by the way, just moved out on his own. Just got his own apartment. The kid's 18. He's making $25 an hour. Tell me how that happens unless you're kick ass. He's kick ass. So he moved out, gets his own apartment, but. This words of wisdom I gave him years ago, and he goes, "Papa, you were so right." I'm like, I'm right about everything because I said you don't own something unless you could hold it in your hand. Because he went ahead, he was buying an Xbox. He got an Xbox S that you just download. Papa, you just download all the games. You don't have to load his disc in there. That means you don't own the games. Of course I own the games, Papa. They're right here. Yeah, you don't really own the games. And so last year, because he goes, Papa, some of my games disappeared off the Xbox S. Really interesting, isn't that? Yeah, you're right. You were right, Papa. Unless you can hold it in your hands, you don't own it. And that's my problem with all this stuff. I mean, that was my problem with Kindle when it first began. And let me tell you my Kindle story. So I got Kindle, and I had the same thing. Like, I don't really own these books, but I have a Kindle. I always have a Kindle account. Somebody hacked my my Amazon account about 4 or 5 years ago. And as a result, I had to delete that account. Well, guess what was on that account? My Kindle account. Guess what? It turns out you can't transfer between Kindle accounts, books.
Yeah.
Once your Kindle, those books are locked on that Kindle account. So once I had to cancel a Kindle account, I can only read those books on my old Kindle or an older. I had 2 old iPads.
Right.
That Kindle, but I cannot read on any of my own. I cannot access an account anymore, and I can't read it. So I don't own those books anymore. And so I blew my own stupid example. But I mean, that's the whole thing. You don't really own any of this anymore. You're not going to. You're not doing any of this anymore. This is all going to be out there floating around the cloud somewhere.
And I'll be honest with you. I mean, listen, I used to collect comic books. And of course, the Flood in the Basement did a good job to my comic book collection, some of my gaming collection. But I've gotten now to where I have found that subscribing to Comixology on Amazon,
Yep.
subscribing, and you're like, why would you subscribe to that? Not just because of they give you some like I don't care about the Marvel shit, the DC shit. It's the Conan stuff. It's the fact that I can get like the Sandman comics. I'm not going to be getting that through Comixology or Kindle Unlimited, but I'm getting stuff that I own or own maybe somewhere in storage. But I can read it now in a format where my 55-year-old eyes can now zoom in and catch stuff I didn't. It's great, and it's cheaper. But at the same time, in my mind, I'm also like, I don't physically have a copy in my hand. Like with RPGs, I find myself, even if I look at something, I was like, oh man, that looks, it's a deal of the day on fucking drive-through, and that looks awesome. And it's cheap, but I want it in physical and PDF, so I'll pay $45 to get a fucking physical book sent to me, where I'll probably read it mostly on PDF, but I still want that physical book because it means something. That physical copy means something. It means you can't take it away from me. You can't do a stealth change on me. It can't suddenly.
I'll give you an example when it comes to the comic book world. This is going to be long-winded, so you guys are going to have to hang with me. This is my comic geek showing through. So one of my favorite comics growing up was Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu. I had every issue of this, loved it. So for the lore of Shang-Chi, Master of Kung Fu, his father was Fu Manchu, which was one of the Yellow Peril pulp villains of the early 20s. And so that he's immortal. So he was Shang-Chi's father. And Shang-Chi spent most of the comic series from Marvel fighting against Fu Manchu and his minions. And there was some other characters that were from the Sax Rohmer novels, Dr. Petrie. There's a couple of figures were there too. So they kind of tied it in with the old pulp series. So I want to say the comic series went to about probably the mid 80s or so. And then Shang-Chi would appear here and there. Well, in the last 10, 20 years, Yellow Peril stuff is considered very politically incorrect to have evil Chinese people, evil devil doctors. They call them the devil doctor in the old Sax Rohmer books. And so they, first of all, removed mention of Fu Manchu's Shang-Chi's father. They changed his name to something else, Zhang Shi or something. And the movie, if you watch the movie, you notice he's not Fu Manchu either. He's Zhang Shi or whatever. So in the comics, they changed the name. Well, that's one of the few comics that I really, really love. So I bought the big, giant Marvel Masterwork series. It was a 4-volume series. Each volume was like $100 because it had all the books in, all the Shang-Chi saga in there from 1976 all the way through whatever. And so they're sitting on my shelf. I physically own them. Well, a few weeks ago, Marvel came out and said, we are going to remove any mention of Fu Manchu from Shang-Chi comics, which means we are no longer going to make available in Comixology old issues of Shang-Chi Master Kung Fu. They're all going to be gone because it's so deeply tied into the Sax Rohmer and Fu Manchu mythos because some of the characters are in almost every issue. Right. We're just going to pretend like it never existed. And so the only Shang-Chi we consider existing is from 2000 on, when we never mentioned Sax Rohmer. So those comics are gone. They're soon to be gone. You will not be able to get them off Comics Mixology. And they said they will never again publish that big 4 volumes that I had. So I'm very lucky because I noticed the prices on those have jumped up to about $500 a piece. Now, wow. So you can't have those. But that's just one small example of what they can do when they control the information. They could just say, "This, Shang-Chi never existed before 2000."
Well, that's what me and Eddie talked about on the No Class podcast. The last one was talking about sort of some of the same stuff. And so, like with 1D&D and the virtual tabletop, if you're the only okay. Let me back up. We had talked about before on a previous one, we alluded to, Eddie had said to me at one point, you know what, you've got the D&D books. Even if Watsy's going woke, which that's me, not him saying that or whatever, it's your D&D. You can run it where orcs are evil, drow are still evil, there's no gender fluid elves, whatever, And the point being that I said, yeah, you're right, whatever. Well, then the thing about it is once there's this live table where you're using their virtual book And probably at the end of the session, there's a convenient little button someone can report you if you made your elves, if your orcs were mean and your drows weren't, lovey-dovey or whatever. And there's going to be all these probably, what do we call it? Like microtransactions where it's like, oh, you want the cool flaming skeleton image in your little dungeon. It's a little fee. Oh, you want that new subclass? There's a fee. Just a small fee, Oh, you want the cool sort of the particle effects? There's just a small fee.
25 cents, a buck here, a buck there. That was the game plan with the 4E VTT that fell apart.
Yeah.
Because they were talking microtransactions per miniature. I think the number was like 25 cents per mini. You could they'll buy these virtual miniatures that cost us fucking nothing. It's free money. And they fucked up when they gave their dice graphic and it was the visuals were stolen from Fantasy Grounds, which had the 3D dice graphic. They literally stole it from Fantasy Grounds.
Wow.
But then with the 4E model, and I personally think this is why 4E failed as bad as it did as a game, because it was never meant to stand alone as a game. It was meant to be supported by the TTT. Mm-hmm. The main programmer was in a relationship with another programmer, common law, and things went bad, and he killed his common law spouse and then committed suicide. You lost your main programmer and another senior programmer on a project, and the VTT went away. Gleemax was damned. I'm suspecting that they're going to have a little bit better handle on it, since the current Wizards of the Coast president, didn't she come from like Microsoft and their gaming side?
Yes, she did.
So
yes.
She already knows how to monetize this shit. The new vice president they announced like yesterday is coming from a similar situation. D&D one D&D, which by the way, remarkably enough, that they bought a Canadian company that had like one something or other. It's a multimedia company Hasbro bought. So this one D&D is apparently linking to maybe some way to a multimedia company that Hasbro also has. This is going to be their future. It's not going to be physical books. It's going to be the VTT. It's going to be digital content. And I'm going to guess at some point, Neverwinter Nights 3.0, whatever it is, a digital world where maybe you'll have play your D&D with a virtual DM. I'm throwing that one out. I have no inside information, but they're definitely planning a lot on how to integrate this with probably your Xbox, your PS4. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on with that. Their future is not pen and paper for D&D. The future of D&D is digital, and that's why the OSR is so important.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are. I've seen some real freakouts online about this, but look, everything's going to change eventually anyway. And yeah, we skew older generation, everybody here and everybody in place. So eventually, I can see a day when this will all be VR or something. But I don't think this necessarily changes a lot for the near future when it comes to 5e and back. Or let's say we drew a dividing line in 2022. Here's 2022. Here's 2023. Here's 2022 back. It doesn't change anything for anything 2022 back. I mean, that's all going to be available for everybody to run games on at conventions, to play on your own table, whatever. I mean, that doesn't require any kind of VTT component, any kind of online component. So you still have like quite a few generations that I think are happy playing games in person and online, because you look at the event. I mean, look, if you have a convention, you're not going to go to a convention and play games VTT and looking at your phone or thing. So unless they think the conventions are going to disappear too, which I don't think.
Look at Cyclops Con.
Hey, look at Cyclops Con.
Yeah. There have been a few. AetherCon was a virtual convention going back, I don't know, at least 6 or 7 years prior to COVID. And without naming any names, I'm going to say from my involvement in 1 year, it was a horribly organized fucking virtual convention. I got snookered into something to write to do 2 interviews, and before I know it, I'm like, "Hey, wait! I'm doing 4 interviews, and I'm supposed to be supervising others. Where the fuck did that come from?" But there's a belief that you can remember. Apple's coming out with VR in 2023, and if we think that Facebook's large helmet, which I have, and I've done. I get together with Zach Glazer every couple of maybe once or twice a week, and we do some VR gaming and bullshitting about the community and the hobby. Apple is promising goggles, not like a whole headgear. They're promising lightweight, no neck fatigue as you're looking down at a game board or whatever. That may change things in general, but it's also going to depend, I think, on the deals that these companies can make between each other. I don't know where Wizards of the Coast is going to align. If they're going to want to go deep in the digital, they're going to have to align with one of the virtual headsets, and it's going to be Meta, Facebook, or it's going to be Google. Or not, Google will probably have one, and Apple. These are those are going to be your and you have to choose wisely. Right? It's like one of those things like choose your path wisely, because behind 2 of these doors lies death. If they make the wrong choice, the D&D profits they are expecting are not going to materialize. Now, on top of that, we don't know what the movie's going to be like. The movie looks promising. It could be shit. I will say that, but it looks more promising than any D&D franchise movie I've seen yet, and if it works well, they don't care what happens with the game, right? If the D&D name sells movies, that's worth.
Well, that's what happened with the MCU. That's what happened to the MCU and Marvel Comics. Marvel Comics is in the absolute shitter right now. I mean, they're DC Comics is about to go bankrupt, which is insane considering they have Superman and Batman as 2 of their properties, and they are absolutely going broke. I mean, this isn't just an angry comics fan. This is news all over the Bloomberg and Forbes. But Marvel Comics is getting there too. And the problem was MCU made so much money. They basically told the guys, "Yeah, we don't really care what you do with the comics because we're getting this giant check from Disney, every month. So whatever you guys want to do." Well, they went in there. They just promptly shit the bed when it came to all their comics. They just messed them up. And so now that the MCU universe has kind of been around for a while, it's kind of waned a little bit. People are looking elsewhere. The comics never recovered from that. So They basically screwed their own audience in the terms of people really aren't that interested in buying comics anymore. Or they, even online comics, not just paper comics, but even online comics, they're just not interested anymore. They look at the Marvel universe comics and the MCU is 2 totally different things, and they're like, yeah, because first my wife has never read a comic book in her life, but she knows the MCU, she knows all the characters, she's seen all the movies with me, so she doesn't know. She'll ask me sometimes who is this character in the comic, or did this character ever do it, and I'll explain the differences to her. But she's an MCU person. She has nothing to do with the comics, and they've raised a whole generation. That's what they are. That they're not into the comics at all, and so they basically destroyed their base product, which is the comics. I don't know if this could
go the same route.
I'm wondering if they could do something like D&D. I mean, I guess you could, because the older well, here was the problem though with comics though. You have older comics. You don't have any, and a lot of the old folks like me. I don't buy new comics. I haven't bought one in 10 years. But I think gaming is a little different because you still have the OSR and the retroclones, so you can still go out and buy an old school module or old school rules. Right. Whereas you can't go to Marvel Comics and buy. I want Spider-Man just like how he was in the '60s. You can't do that. Those don't exist anymore.
Yeah, but the thing is, Mike, you can listen. You can find everything you want on the internet. And if you need me to tell you how, folks, I'm not going to be there to tell you. But the thing is, Dungeons and Dragons has probably, if this movie is successful, I'm gonna put my money down. I'll put a month of my pension. I'm a pensioner, by the way.
Whoa!
I'll put a month of my pension down to say that the D&D movie is going to be successful and it's going to spawn either a sequel or it's going to spawn a direct to Netflix or Amazon series, not with the same actors, but with the Dungeons and Dragons, whatever, Baldur's Gate, you know. Which, by the way, if you go to Humble Bundle, they're offering like you can get Baldur's Gate and Planescape and Neverwinter Nights for like I don't know $10. Pretty cool, but it's going to if it's successful, it's going to be a new franchise, and that makes the game to a large extent irrelevant, except as a marketing tool. And as a marketing tool, it will become relevant. But the movie, if successful, will make D&D less relevant to Wizards of the Coast as a game than it is as something to get people out to the franchise. My little thoughts on that. It's changing the world. Like you're saying, like the cinematic universe. You know, you have the D&D cinematic universe.
Well, here's something Eddie was talking about the other day. Is you think Hasbro's going to unload WotC?
I think there's a good chance they'll sell off the D&D arm of WotC. I think that could be somewhere not terribly far down the road, but it depends on how the movie does. It depends on how a real 6th edition does, because they could hang around and go, hey, once we get this last batch of money from printing it, we'll cast it off somewhere.
Well, here's what you could see. All right, I don't see them selling the rights to D&D. I could see them saying, hey, we're gonna, and it's kind of similar to what Games Workshop did, right, with the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. They spun the game off. They kept the rights to Warhammer, but they spun the game off to a third party. Right. And I could see them saying, hey, listen, we're going to spin Wizards of the Coast off as their own company, and they'll have a 10-year license to publish an RPG games based upon the D&D trademark. But the trademark will be owned by Hasbro, because that's if the movie is halfway successful, it is too valuable to sell off that trademark. But they don't necessarily want to be part of that game now, unless they're going to spin Wizards off as a hugely valued company and all their stockholders make a lot of money off this, which is another possibility. But yeah, I don't see it as a spinoff of. We don't want the D&D issues. No, if the movie is more successful than the prior movies, and looking at the people that they have acting in it and the short scenes, if the best scenes, the only good scenes are what we saw in the trailer, the movie's going to be all right. It'll
be better. Well, it'll be better than what came before by any
better than the Dragonlance movie.
I own it and I've never bothered to watch it. How's that? Tell you something.
That's good thinking.
You know, I have it in DVD and it just sat on the shelf. And I'm like, I can't.
But there's a lot of top-notch talent attached to that too.
Yeah,
yeah. But I mean, I like Chris Pine.
Kiefer Sutherland. I was trying to.
Yeah, but I like Pine. I like Rodriguez, and the scenes that we saw were actually, if those are the best scenes, and there are no other good scenes, the movie will break it.
I thought that the trailer was great because it was semi-serious, semi-funny, which look, D&D is not serious. You can't be serious and so you got to either wink at it or fourth wall it or something, because you can still have serious stuff, but you also have to acknowledge, these characters are ridiculous and Owlbear is silly, and this is so I thought there was a really good mix just in the trailer of it's going to be funny, but it's also serious. The visuals were great. I mean, because CGI now can make monsters look awesome. I love the Joe. Look at the awesome. You remember the Beholder in the original D&D movie? How ouch that was!
Oh my god!
And everything looked great. The trailer, I thought all the monsters looked great. The special effects looked great. So, I think they have a better.
I've only ever walked out of one movie my whole life, and I've seen some terrible, terrible movies. I saw Con Air, but the only one I ever got up and walked out.
Great soundtrack. Movie sucked.
I walked
one
out.
of the best movie soundtracks I've heard.
You walked out of D&D movie. You walked out of D&D.
Con Air, great
It
sound.
was such a disappointment. Dungeons & Dragons was terrible, and the whole thing, it was awful. And people, I know people like to view stuff through the glaze of drunken nostalgia, but no, it was awful. And I think this movie is going to avoid a lot of the issues with that, just because the writing looks better, the talent is a way step up from that original D&D movie. You know, you had Jeremy Irons chewing scenery like it was popcorn, you know, and Thora Birch, who should have never been in anything past, you know, the one movie she had a great. What was the one movie that she was great in? I can't remember, but you know,
can't think of it.
It was just terrible. You know, it was just awful. And this movie, I think it's approaching it from the right direction. That I don't think it's going to flop. I think it'll do fine. I mean, I watched the Critical Role cartoon on Prime. It was okay. It wasn't horrible, but you know, I mean, I don't think it was horrible.
I couldn't get past the first 10 minutes. The first episode.
You have to invest yourself in 2 or 3 episodes to
Oh,
really
let's not be honest.
But look, I'll never watch it again. I mean, I'm
All right.
sorry. I'll
Well,
never
hold on.
watch it.
Yeah,
in the world.
we're gonna go with true honesty, right? Hey, guess what? I haven't seen an episode of yet. The Amazon series that everybody talks about.
Rings of Power. I'm not going to see. Look, I don't see anything unless everything comes out. I don't watch episodic TV.
I refuse to. Actually, I have to catch up on the new Game of Thrones series. I only watched the first episode and I heard it's been pretty good. But haven't been watching the Star Wars stuff on Disney because, I heard the last one. The new series is much better than.
So Rings of Power. I mean, I know most people that like Tolkien detest it and I can understand why. I mean, obviously, if you're gonna fuck around with Tolkien's legacy, but I think it's sort of like my wife. My wife will watch stuff and she doesn't have any clue of what goes on.
Right.
And I thought, well, you know, she'd probably like Rings of Power because she'd just watch it and it'd be like generic fantasy something. But I take it that anybody that has any knowledge of Tolkien is just not going to dig that at all, right?
Yeah, I won't find out.
Yeah, see, that's
your dollar.
If I want good,
what you allow to continue will continue.
Yeah, if I want good gaming fantasy, and that's it isn't going to be Shannara because that fucking sucked balls.
That's terrible.
All right. Oh my god. What was the other one? Wheel of Time wasn't horrible, but I really couldn't give a shit about the characters.
See, I heard Wheel of Time is another one of those. I never read the Jordan books, and
I read the
buddy.
first
My
book.
buddy that saw it said you'd probably like it because you haven't read the books. But if you read the books, you're going to hate it. So.
Yeah, my problem with it is I couldn't. The storyline wasn't bad, but the characters I didn't care about. Nobody was likable. If nobody's likable, I don't invest myself. Now, good fantasy, The Witcher. The Witcher, I eagerly await.
I liked it.
I mean, that is, and it's got a little bit of humor, and it's got a lot of gore, and it's played to the hilt. That's what I want out of my fantasy. Now, do I expect that the D&D movie will be a little bit more humorous than The Witcher, and probably a lot less dark, but maybe a lot more action. I don't know. We shall see.
Now you have to have a mix because I know that a lot of my friends that saw the latest Thor movie absolutely detested it, and it bombed at relatively bombed when you come to MC movie. It bombed at the box office because it was silly. It was Takeda what he just going ape shit hilarious. He thought it was going to be hilarious, and he's not hilarious in big doses like that. He's hilarious in very small doses. And most people I know that saw it absolutely detested it. I'm talking about people that were fans, not fans,
right?
Everybody, because it was silly. It was too silly. It wasn't funny. It was silly. And there's a big difference between respecting the material and making jokes to just being ridiculous and just like it's just garbage.
Catching up here with the comments. Matt requires gratuitous nudity in his fantasy movies.
Who doesn't? Yeah.
Well, that's why we had the first season of Game of Thrones, right? That was all
first couple of seasons, yeah.
And every 80s movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why we used to do our 80s review, our B movies, sci-fi, fantasy on the podcast because I got to go rewatch those for all the, nude warrior women and whatnot,
or the big fluffed up hair. Like, oh, they all thought people in the past looked like Farrah Fawcett. Yeah, that's
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hawk the Slayer. My first time
yes.
watching Hawk. My first 3 times watching Hawk the Slayer was always catching like the last 30 minutes on some late TV channel. Like 2 o'clock in the morning, I can't sleep. I'm flipping like, oh my god, I finally found Hawk the Slayer. It's like it's the last 30 minutes. I'm always trying to. So
without the setup, how can you appreciate the whole awesome movie? I mean,
you know what? It was actually. Rach hasn't seen it yet. One day she'll see it. I thoroughly enjoyed it as an adult, knowing it for what it was and appreciating Jack Palance for the overacting that he did. Because
yes, yes,
yeah. I had never seen it back in the day, but I watched it for the podcast about a year or 2 ago, and I really enjoyed it. If nothing else, just because of the history, the
history.
It's
a huge.
What was the one Sword and the Sorcerer? The guy that had the sword that shot blades.
Oh yeah.
Whatever. So I remember watching that at the theater and being embarrassed. I was there, but like, you know, it's kind of like it's like a train wreck though. You're there and like, I want to see how this train wrecks. I mean, it's gonna wreck. It's wrecking so wonderfully.
Oh yeah, I think that was Lee Horsley, his big acting debut. Yeah, the sword that shot off.
Yeah, that was awesome. That was great because I remember I'm sitting there watching the main character going, he's more like Conan than Conan was in the Conan movie because he's a barbarian that's wandering around doing whatever. Anyway, don't get me started on Conan and Robert E. Howard.
A really
why,
bad movie.
Why nobody in Hollywood seems willing to read an actual Howard story and do a movie on it, which would be great.
Carl will be running some games at the long time.
Oh, thank you. So by the way, Eric has thrown up my coffee account number. I'm once again begging for money, like I was about a month ago when I went to West United States. It was on a green chili cheeseburger trip. I'm going up to Game Hole Con in 2 weeks, and I'm going on a pork loin trip. So I'm going to stop at.
Can I make one request, Mike?
Yes, sir.
For that, be sure you need lots more upshots of your nostrils for that.
I thought I had enough the last time when I had the camera down here.
Very, very flattering shots, brother.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm just starting to get used to this thing about. I'm not Zach Glazer. I don't know how to film food.
He's not savvy with the food shot.
I'm not Zach, but I've already got a few. I've got some recommendations for some pork loin sandwich place and another sandwich place that John Law turned me on to in Lawrence, Kansas, which I'll be going through. So that's going to be on the list too. So yes, I will be live broadcasting me eating food, which I know is always entertaining. And I will be live broadcast. So I'm doing this trip by myself, and it's 2 7-hour days. I'm going to be bored a lot. So expect a lot of live broadcasts on Facebook that week because I will be getting on all the time. I'm going to be bothering people like Eric. I'll probably call Eric at like 8 in the morning and wake his ass up. And go, hey, man, we're going to talk some games. He's like, oh, what?
Wait. 8 o'clock your time? So that'd be like 9 o'clock my time?
Oh, it wouldn't be too. Oh, you'd be awake then. Yeah.
Maybe I'll be stirring, or at least I'll be up to empty my bladder before sleeping the next 2 hours. So, you know.
So anyway, more nostrils, more camera work. So anyway, drop $5.
I'll pay you what you gobble a loin.
Drop $5 into my coffee account, and I will give you some great pork loin reviews. Because as you know, pork loins are only available in Missouri, Kansas, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana. I mean, they don't have pork loins down here. It's crazy. They should. They're awesome. Pork loin sandwiches are incredible. You get this thing. It's like as big as your head, and there's this little tiny bun on it, and a couple little pickles. But I mean, it's incredible. So, yes, I'll be hitting the pork loin places and broadcasting. Maybe picking up some hot hitchhikers. Does that still happen? Is that no? Is that back? No. That's not 1976.
You're about 50 years past.
Yeah, you're probably right. That's probably 1972. There might have been.
Now they're probably just as afraid of you as you are of them. It's like
they'll either kill me or they'll kill me or run away from me.
Nothing good will happen, Mike.
Come and get my car, little girl. Come on. We're going to take a ride. We're going to get some pork loin.
Pork loin sandwiches. You'll love it.
Bear spray. Yeah.
No, you wait to pepper it once you get the sandwich. Not now. What are you doing? You don't understand.
All right. So, Gary. Let's see what Gary says he dumped some money in there. Let's see what Gary's. Last time Gary dumped $100 in there because he's just an asshole.
He's a good asshole.
He
That's
said,
what I was gonna say. Give me some of that.
give me some of that asshole right there.
It'd be funny to dump a lot of money in my Ko-Fi, or coffee. I heard it's pronounced coffee. So, he just bought me. Okay, so Gary is a cheapskate. He just bought me one. Okay,
Well, he should have.
yeah, fuck you, Gary. That's
$1 at a time, 100 times.
That's right.
I told Gary not to give me $100. He gave me $100 this time. It's ridiculous. I said I do not want $100. Oh shit! Did he give
Neither
me $100?
we don't want to sell any more badges.
Yeah,
we want
boo.
no more money.
Please don't give me that.
Okay, he only gave me $50. He only gave me $50. So thanks, Gary. He only gave me 50. That's I don't need 100. Save the rest for Long Con. These guys need to spend some money at Long Con. Oh, by the way, so speaking of spending money at Long Con, have you guys got some vendors this year? You got any? I guess David Donahue's going to be there with his gigantic collection of used stuff he's got, or
Games, you know it. We
who
love
else you got?
We got Dragon's Nest, which is our friendly local game store
Yeah,
just
they're
down the
awesome.
road.
Really good
Okay.
people. Cool setup.
We've got my buddy who's doing a Kickstarter right now, which is Ravens, a card game perfect for all you guys when there's that one person that always shows up late to the game. This is what you play while you're waiting on that guy. So go check out the Ravens Kickstarter. Let's see. We've got
Ben Burns.
Yeah, we've got Pace Setter Games, believe it or not, all the way from Michigan.
Good Lord, what a lineup!
Vending.
He's vending?
He's vending.
Wow.
Wow, that's cool.
I can leak that we're going to have Frog God games, I think.
What?
No bar's ever ready for you, Gary.
You're not having Frog God because I won't be there, and there's no way Zach's running a tail by himself.
See, Zach loves us, but then there's
Wait to disappoint the
Here's
faithful.
Zach running a tail when you're gone. He'll throw a bunch of books down and put a sign there. Come find me if you want to buy anything.
That worked for you guys at Red River.
I know. Y'all made money while he was away smoking, hand over fist.
That's true. We did. We see. I still always have a soft spot in my heart for Red River Con. That was your ill-fated attempt to run a con in Louisiana before you realized that nobody wants to go to Louisiana. Which I love Louisiana. I love the food there. It was great. And we had one day. I think it was the year 2. We sold out of all our stuff, everything.
You didn't bring enough.
We didn't bring enough. Plus, we were the only game dealer there. Everybody else was selling dice and pixie sticks or whatever. I don't know, whatever, but. We were the only people actually selling dice.
I remember that one guy that he didn't have any teeth. He bought you guys out. He was,
it was awesome. Yeah, that's great. And I don't know what he did with the books, but no, that was great. Red River Con was lamented. It was only 2. It was only 2 years, right? Red River Con.
Yeah,
2 years, but I had a blast both times. Like I said, I love eating. I love Cajun food, man. That was great. There were some great places.
Ralph and Cacoo's, right?
Now, Shreveport is a dump. We can all agree with that. It is an absolute freaking dump. But we stayed at the Homewood Suites, which was nice. We just walked over to the dumpy hotel where the con was at that had the holes in the ceiling.
We're the one con that's like, don't stay in our hotel.
Do not stay
in the other hotel.
And then
so the hotel. So Eric, the hotel they had it in. First of all, remember when they were working on it? Both years were there. There was holes in the ceiling and big buckets there where water's dripping. Number 2, that hotel was designated as a hotel that people who've lost their house stay in. So it had all these semi-permanent residents who had come down to breakfast this morning with like nightgowns and a cig in their mouth and bunny slippers and stumble around and get breakfast because they lived at the hotel. They lived
right.
So, right next to it was the Homewood Suites. So we stayed at the Homewood Suites.
And we encourage everyone to stay at the Homewood Suites. We got a rate for y'all at the Homewood Suites next door.
It was great.
Nice.
The hotel was a dump, but it was cheap. It was cheap because it was a dump. And yeah.
Poor Jason doesn't do Facebook, so he didn't know what we told everybody on Facebook. Don't get a room at Red River.
Oh, no.
They served the raw chicken and a salad.
Oh, God. Yeah, it was awful.
What?
I actually stayed at the hotel.
But the things I do for you and Bill Webb,
yeah.
I ran that one guy off,
Oh, the homeless poor Earl. Yeah, Earl was.
Poor Earl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Earl slipped in the woods. He slipped in the woods outside.
Wait, time out. Not mentioning last names, but this is where the woods situation was?
Yes. Earl. we were walking back one night because there was this little 100 yards of land there. Not even 100 yards, maybe 25, 30 yards. As we're walking across, this guy stepped out of the woods. There's this guy, Earl, that we
all did, Jason.
Who was a homeless gamer. He's a gamer, but he's homeless. And he had slept in the woods that night because
in a Jester's outfit.
in a Jester's outfit. Like he looked like an
That's a
insane clown.
detail I did not know, and I'm not sure if I needed to know, but I'm glad I know, I guess. Holy
So we
fuck.
said, "Hey, what are you guys up to?" And Zach was like, "You are not going to let him come to our hotel room and take a shower because he was dirty. He was like really dirty." I felt so every morning I bought him breakfast or I got him a coffee because I felt sorry for him. And Zach goes, "I know you have a soft spot for people, but he is not going to be in our hotel room." I was like, "What? I wasn't going to let him in the hotel room." But yeah, he lived in the woods outside, and he just decided to attend the con. It was great. So
yeah, he was telling people he was going to open up a game shop in the local area, and all his money was tied up at the casino. And yeah, there was some fanciful stories from that one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guys tell some fanciful stories too sometimes. So
What?
But Red River Con I still have my Red River Con shirt, but that was good. But Long Con is the better one there. I have to say it has more longevity and it's longer lived and it's a much better con. But I'm mad if I can't come because I really want to see the new venue because the town of Longview is actually pretty Cool. There's a lot of places to eat there. There's tons of barbecue places.
Kick-ass barbecue. Kick-ass barbecue.
Yeah, East Texas barbecue, good stuff. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I thought Zach said he was coming because Zach loves us. I mean,
Well, he said he was going to come. Well, he said if I came, he would come. So I don't know. If I try, we'll see. We'll see how the next one.
Like I said, I will treat you as royalty if you come. I've already got some cardboard crowns. I mean, I'm
bullshit. Treat me as royalty. That is such bullshit.
I've got a guillotine.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. That kind of royalty.
French royalty.
French Revolution royalty. I don't think so. No, but Ty Beard said Ty Beard's coming, and I've talked to a bunch of people in Dallas, and they said they're going to make the trip. So you guys should be excited. That's going to be. Good Lord, I almost died at River. It was that bad? Oh my God, it was terrible. Yeah. We ate some good food, man. We ate some really good food at Red River Con. So
we almost got to fist fight the hotel owner. So
yeah, I almost got to punch the. So I'll tell you this. I'll tell you a story. The first year, we didn't know any better. We went in and looked at the atrium, and the atrium was dated from the 80s, but relatively.
It looked like a 70s. It looked like a 70s disco bar.
Yeah. But it was decent. And then the venue space wasn't that bad. You have to admit the venue space was pretty nice.
No, it wasn't bad at all. No, it was fun.
So we never even thought to go look at a room or check out that side of the hotel. Because why would you, seeing that? So when we showed up for the actual con the first time, and I'm going to my room, like lights are flickering in the hall, and there's stains on the carpet. The guy leaned against the wall outside his room.
There was people lived there permanently. There was really permanent residents in that hotel. Yes.
Yeah, it was really scary. So I remember a buddy of ours who used to run it at the first couple long cons. He landed at Red River. Great guy, James Ward. Shouldn't mention his name. But anyway, super guy, runs an amazing game of Cthulhu. So James is a good Christian, good guy. I've never heard him use a profane word the whole time I've ever known him. So we're riding down from our elevators to get breakfast the next morning. And I looked over at him and I said, "So?" And he goes, "This hotel's a shithole." That's all he looked at me. He just looked at me. This hotel's a shithole, And it was.
It was. But look, it was just a venue.
The word of the Lord.
Yeah.
It was a cheap venue, but no, that's not what we're talking about here. Long Con is not that. Long Con is a great venue, great places to eat all around there. It's going to be really fun. I'm going to do everything I can to try to get there, but I don't know if the wife's going to be as receptive to me taking 4 days off.
Hey, she likes us. Just remind her we're those cool guys. She made those groovy masks for that came.
I actually, she did make you guys masks. I actually think, and plus, I actually think she had a good time when I was gone from the beach. I didn't want to say anything, but
I could see that.
I think she kind of partied a little bit when I was gone.
Yeah, probably.
She got her groove back.
Probably the most fun she had the whole time.
Got her groove back. That's why when I called her that night, I heard Congo music in the background and I heard a male voice saying, "Yeah, get out here on the dance floor, baby."
Yeah.
Oh, that'll make sense.
I'm only the pool boy.
Getting caught in the rain.
It all makes sense now. Shit, I should have seen this coming.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's okay. I had fun at Long Con, so I don't care. Whatever she wants to do. She wants to spice it up a little bit. Yeah.
And everyone can have fun at Long Con this year.
Everyone.
If you can't come, feel free to buy a badge anyway.
That's right. Buy 3.
I need to buy one. I was thinking the other day.
There you go.
I used to buy one. I never use it, and I buy it and don't use it. So.
Well, we'll roll it over. Some cons don't do that, but we'll roll it over.
Oh, we do too. You learned that from us.
We learned our bad habits from you guys.
We did. Well, now we only roll over 1 year now. You know that, right? Because it got too ridiculous.
So I heard from the boss man.
It got too crazy
because we figured we'd go a little extra step.
Yeah.
We had people that had been there like in year 4 that Doug was rolling over to year 12. We're like, okay, no, they're not going to come back, Doug. Just take them off the roll. And so Gary and I cleaned it out last year, the year before. We said, that's it. We gave everybody a warning. This is the last year for rollovers, and then we started. So now we're only going to roll over to the next year. But I think it still helps because it first of all, look, if you're sick and you can't go to the con, you don't want people to make themselves go to the con because they're afraid they're going to lose money. Just tell them, look, stay home. You can come next year. I don't want you here with COVID or whatever. And and also if the weather's bad, there's lots of reasons people can't come to the con. I
remember that 1 year where the weather was so damn bad people couldn't even fly in. Yeah,
we had about 60 there.
We were there running games.
I know. We had about 60 no-shows that year. It was raining so hard it was flooding everywhere. How'd y'all make it past the flood?
We almost died on the way there. Gary almost impaled a flatbed. Double R.
Geez.
Yeah. What's that movie? The Final Destination. Final Destination. I was having Final Destination flashbacks.
Well, last North Texas flying in from New York, we landed in Austin.
That's right. Yeah, last year was crazy too. They had a bunch of crazy shit go on.
Has a lot of crazy weather. So
Chris, that helps us at the con, he and his son, they flew into Houston, and they took a bus up because the next flight wasn't going to be for like the next day, and they said, no, we're going to get on the bus now because it's a 4-hour drive. So they took a bus from Houston. Jeff Talanian flew into San Antonio, and he and his buddy rented a car and drove up.
Damn.
Because once again, they weren't going to. There was no guarantee they're going to get on the next day.
Yeah, we got lucky.
You guys got very lucky.
It was wheels down, and we heard our pilot going, "Listen, we're going to fuel and go. That's the game plan, and we got it. And we're not letting anybody off the plane because other flights that were diverted were letting their people off the plane to go to the bar or whatever. Nobody gets off." And he was wise because we got authorization within 30 minutes to fly out. Other flights that let people off, 1 or 2 stragglers, cost them a day.
Yep.
Wow.
So our pilot was fucking spot on, thank God.
Well,
Last year, people couldn't fly out that Sunday. Remember we had the power outage and briefly, and I think the bars just came back from the airport because flights were canceled. They needed a room.
Well, the one good thing about long con is you fly into DFW airport, which always has or Love Field, tons of flights coming.
Or Shreveport's not that far either.
Shreveport's even closer.
Shreveport's a dump. Shreveport's a dump. I don't want to know what the airport looks like at Shreveport, but no. But it's only an hour and a half drive, and on the way there you can go to Buc-ee's. There's a Buc-ee's on the way.
Oh wow!
To go to
everything better.
Oh, it does, man. You drive for an hour, you see that Bucky, that beaver, and you're just like, oh yeah, baby, I got some beaver nuts coming, and so there you go. Yeah, so that's a great drive. It's over before you even know it. That drive is over before you know it. Really is. Yeah. So that's if you're thinking about flying to DFW, rent a car, hour and a half drive, boom, you're there. It's awesome, and it's a straight shot. It's just west. It's just east.
Just I-20.
Straight shot east. Yep. Yeah. You don't have to do anything.
It's not a bad drive. Not at all.
Now, Gary says Tyler Airport is nice. I have never flown in there. I know my brother's flown in and out of there a few times, but I never have. So
seriously, Beatty flies into Shreveport each time he comes, and we go pick him up, and it's like 40, 45 minutes, and he's always disembarked and
it's a real small airport, so you don't have a lot of screwing around.
Exactly, it's not a lot of.
I like small airports, but I looked and there's no direct flight from Brownsville or Harlingen into Longview. Unfortunately, you have to go to DFW, but when you're in DFW, you might as well just jump in the car and drive over at that point.
Right.
So.
Well, that's just, it's settled. You and Zach just load up. Come on, easy peasy.
Well, I'm going to look into it. Like I said, it's not going to be as easy as last year because last year was a special. I got special dispensation from my wife, so I don't know what I have to see how the wind's blowing when I get back.
You keep that same guy back down there.
Yeah.
on the dance.
She might be all for it. Like, you're going to go to LongCon, right? Like, yeah, why?
Playing that in all year.
No reason.
That's right.
Her phone's ringing, and she's pushing it. Oh, no reason. I just want to make sure you're going to be gone. Which weekend? You're going to be gone this weekend, right? Yeah.
Bye, Felicia.
Leave on time.
Get her groove on. Yeah. Whatever. If she wants to get her groove on, whatever. That's not my problem. Eddie knows how that is.
Yeah, Matt's always out there.
Oh. See, they work spouses too, Mike.
God, yeah, but they're a little creepier than we are, Eric.
Right, like we're separate. We have this long distance relationship.
Yeah, there's kind of a long distance thing. You guys is far too close.
Our spouses not to feel threatened.
Yeah.
But
you guys are almost touching right now. Or matter of fact, you probably are. You are touching. Yeah, you're touching. Yeah, it's way creepier. Way creepier.
God bless you. That's what the world needs. Just more togetherness.
So while we got you here, I want a couple of things. I don't even know if I've ever asked this before. I probably never have because we never talked this long.
If you were a tree, what kind of tree?
Eddie and Matt. So tell us about your beginnings in gaming, because I have never asked you guys this, Eddie or Matt.
Well, I lost a bet and I'd start hanging out with him.
I understand that. No, I mean farther back to that even.
So Matt was in a horrible vehicle accident and he went to hell, and they said the only way you can repent for all your sins is you have to have this guy tag around with you and harass the shit out of you for the rest of your natural life. So
wow, that's
for the first 3 years he had a rack of ribs he'd wear like a rapper,
and a pop song.
Like a clock around his neck, except it's a rack of ribs just hanging there. That sounds very
Things just got weird.
Excuse me while I whip this thing
just got weird. No, seriously. No.
Where have you been the last hour?
How did you guys team up? How did you guys team up? Tell us. I want to hear the team.
Some of my coworkers said they watched that episode of Community where they played D&D, which you can't watch that one now because it's got drow face.
Oh, because if you don't own it, guess what? It's not on TV anymore. Yeah.
So they watched that, and I said, I know something about D&D from back when I was playing 2nd edition. So we started running Village of Elemental Evil. Mm-hmm. And I was like, these guys are this is a fad for them. They're going to drop out, and they've reignited my passion for it. So I created a meetup for Shreveport gamers. And then...
And so the neat part about that story for me is I had been working at this god-awful rehab in Bossier Parish. And just one night at work, just all of a sudden I sat down, I had a break at the computer at work, and this thought just popped in. I said, you know what? I haven't gamed in a while. And you know what? I'm going to just do a Google search, role-playing gaming in Shreveport, Bossier, Louisiana, enter. And his meetup popped up, and I made a meetup account and said, yeah, I'll come by. And I mean, it's just this. And then we've been friends, 12 years?
He opened the door and he was wrapped in saran wrap, drinking a beer. And you're like, I don't know about this, but oh, that's pretty cool. Well, that's cool.
And then I got accepted into Matt's gaming table. I remember that. You passed your tryout. You can be on our table. I was like,
and it was like a disturbing hazing incident, or
gaming with Eddie, because he'd be over here at my elbow saying wisecracks nonstop under his breath, and then everybody's looking at me because I'm, I'm guffawing, and they're like, "Are you having a seizure? What's going on?"
And then Matt would shout them out louder.
Exactly, because he's
the high on pot news guy from the Key and Peele sketch.
Absolutely. Because he's over here muttering them. I'm like, man, these are zingers. These are solid gold.
So now you know why I shout them out everywhere I go.
Yeah, you better. Or I'm going to take.
And now I know why DMs hate you guys. Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, when you're a good GM, you can collect the player tiers, but when you're a great player, you collect the GM tiers.
Nice. Yes.
Basically, if you see us at the far end of the table just doing nothing but texting, well, we're probably talking trash about you.
So why did you guys get into DCC? Why is that such a big favorite with you?
Down with DCC. Well, let me tell this part first.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Is we went to NTRPG, and I can't remember who the gentleman was, but he ran some Lamentations. And it had that good, crazy, gonzo, old school feel. And I was like, aha, this is it. This is the secret sauce. And it wasn't quite as salacious as it was going to become. That was in the more formative years.
Yeah.
And then was it the next year?
Well, so I love Gamma World, but you remember there's that one guy that runs Gamma World on Sundays, has for years at North Texas, and good luck getting that game. There's people that are waiting, poised with their mouse to click, at midnight, and they fill it up, or something. But anyway, I wanted some post APOC. Well, Jim Wampler, who talking about a Goodman Games representative that comes to y'all's con, Wampler was beta testing Mutant Crawl Classics. And so I got the gist that it was, Gamma World-esque. And what had always put me off Dungeon Crawl Classics was the name. The name doesn't do it justice. It's a great game. Dungeon Crawls, I think that's when we were kids and you just draw a quick dungeon and you'd roll on random tables and just kill stuff and take their loot with no real story or something. So anyway, and I'll say that what's ironic about that is Goodman Games, their modules are amazing.
They're really good. They're
really so great.
Great one shots. Probably the best one shots in the business. Yes.
Yeah. And so anyway, I'm playing in Wampler's game, and there were some players in that. I can't think of his name right now, but I remembered his name on another recent cast. But anyway, he was very helpful. And as we're playing, I'm like, man, I love these rules. I love the engine of this. And Wampler ran a great game and whatever. So as soon as I was done, I went over to Black Blade and our old buddy Hirschberger. I was like, I want one of everything, and he got me the book, a tube of the weird dice, a screen, a couple adventures, and that was it. I was bought and sold. I really just had a lot of fun with it. And so, of course, us hanging out, I think he maybe was a little resistant at first, but oh well, before it was over with. Yeah, and so I was road crewing it for about a year. And then he started road crewing it. He road crewed harder than I did. We both got our belts.
So road crew, that's the thing, the DCC. Explain what road crewing means. That's the DCC thing they do.
Your turn.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the road crew is where you run X amount of public games in a year and they give you goodies, which, of course, if you know Matt, like I do, if you're going to give him free stuff for running games, you got him right there.
Yeah.
Guys, it's called slave labor.
But if you give me stickers,
but if I'm getting stickers and
we're
pins,
cheaply bought.
We can be had. We're cheap.
Oh,
and one of the stories that Matt loves to tell is I started to run in DCC without ever reading the books, because I think you guys were talking about that on the last episode where you're like, I've never read those books. You don't have to read those books if you know anything about the OSR,
the lore, and you've been running.
You already know how to run it. You don't have to run out and buy a book, kids.
Yeah,
read it thoroughly.
But I say he was road crewing it for how long? He hadn't even read the book. But he's, and he did great. Aired it beautiful. Oh,
Mike has everything within arm's length. It's disgusting.
Oh, la.
And the gold, silver, and the gold, brothers.
Not right on.
But did
right
you get it signed by anybody?
Yeah, Kovac.
No, that's fine.
And you got him at your con. Get Kovac.
I know. We haven't had Kovac in a few years. I need to get back in touch with Doug. Doug's a great guy. So we haven't had it in a few. You need to get Doug. Doug would show up at your con. He doesn't care how big or small it is. He just wants to play games. Right
on. Yeah, he's cool. But anyway, so we were road crewing, and Goodman found us roadworthy. We got a little internet expose, little thing or whatever, because we ran such a ridiculous amount of games. I just love the adventures, and I've even taken them and translated them into other game systems because they're just so. We remember back in the day, the old modules. Gygax and them would put like a new monster that wasn't in the monster menu in an adventure. Yeah. You had something. Your player's the one that has memorized the monster manual. You can blow their minds, and I don't know what to do with this monster. That's right, jerk. Well, they always put new and original, monsters in their adventures. They're really well written, and so that kind of the hook was set. And running funnels, they're just so much fun. And that's we got kind of addicted. A good friend of ours, Caesar, he kept showing up for funnels. I said, aren't you don't you? Oh no, I love it. Kill me some more. And so I love the funnel aspect. I love the luck stat. I like the way they handle warriors with the deed die. I could go on and on. It's just it's really neat.
And then I wrote my award-winning adventure. It won the Long Con 5 Castles Award.
Exactly, 5
castles. That's more than 3. Wow, that's pretty good.
Exactly. See,
and then that's where I had the privilege to start getting to talk to the Dark Master himself,
Yeah.
Mr. Goodman, before we were eating breakfast at his kitchen table, and got to talking and said, "Hey, we do a podcast, and we'd love to shill your product all around the world." And that's how we got our Twitch show going as well.
Yeah, now we have a Twitch on Goodman
Oh,
Game.
whoa! The Twitch. I don't think we had the link to your Twitch show. We need to get that link up there too. Yeah.
I don't think we have any of those links.
No, we don't. We need to get that link up there.
But
And
we're
if we don't have it now, we can put it up in the pinned comment.
Twitch is. I'm not like those crazy kids that do Twitch, man. That's crazy kid stuff. I don't know that stuff.
well, we have our little producer that does a lot of the back end stuff.
There you go.
She's a sweetheart.
So, but back in the DCC game, Gary says I played in the DCC game in Doug's hotel room. So, did you guys run that game, or how did that?
I don't know what he's talking about. I think.
Oh my!
His, you know.
Okay. Oh no. Okay. So so Matt doesn't remember. Okay. There we go.
No.
Matt, that's my job. That's my other job, is to remember stuff for Matt.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
No, actually, I ran Brendan LaSalle's adventure, A Hole in the Sky, which I love. It's a great
yeah, it's a cool
adventure.
adventure.
With Chris Clark.
With Chris Clark was there,
His
and
mom.
Oh, wow.
Gary, Doug, and of course, Doug was like, "What the spirit?" He was correcting me.
He was trying to break the game, wasn't he?
Yeah,
He was trying
great
to break
memories. Great
games.
memories. Oh, thanks, Gary. Thanks.
Matt's
bud.
next DM. What does he? Gary doesn't remember. How does Gary remember this? He was loaded. I'm sure he doesn't remember anything. He thinks
There was probably vodka. There was potato water involved. If I was yeah.
That was a great trip. I wish I could have made that trip, but I don't do 14-hour drives.
We had a blast, and we talked trash about you the whole time. It was awesome.
You know what? Go ahead, because I do not. I'm too old. I did that to Gen Con one year, and I swore I would never do it again because I was fucked up the whole week because we left at like midnight and got there at like, I don't know, the next day at like 3 in the afternoon. I'm just like a zombie. And then it took 2 days to recover. And then we had to drive back. And I was like, oh, God. And we did the same thing. And I said that I went with John Lyle, that asshole. I said, we're never going to do that again. So next year I went up with my wife and we took the way it should be done, 2 days. Drive about 8 hours, 6 hours, take a rest, eat some food. That's why I do game hole in 2 days. Now
we drove up and saw the game hole.
Yeah, we drove up.
Then we drove over a couple more hours to the hotel, and the hotel didn't open our rooms for a couple more hours. Yeah. So it was quite an adventure. But I was like, even with all that and the 800 hours of driving, I was having a good time the whole time.
I'm so glad to have had that experience with Gary and Doug and Brian and I can't think of. I feel bad. I can't think of his name.
Charlie was there.
Great memories, a great time. This one we really got to know Doug a lot better and Gary, and we just had that. That's a fond memory for sure.
Well, I know Doug had a great time on that trip. I mean, that was all his idea to do that. Just like, what the hell, I'm going to do it, and I'm glad he got to do that before he passed because he loved it. He had a great time. He used to talk about that trip all the time. He had just a great time, He was in his element there. He's in the car. He had a captive audience when he got there. I'm sure he was throwing money around and just, he just got the whole thing rolling. And I know you got to go to a bar where Alex Gygax was the bartender and hang out with Alex, and then you got to go in a game with Jim Ward and Ernie. I mean, it was crazy.
We got to go. Ernie invited us to his house and Gary. Yeah, nice. He didn't invite everybody, just us and Gary.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
We did some things we're not proud of, but hey,
but
not to say
Gygax, so
we saw the collection of minis.
Yeah, that was cool, and he gave me some like cool stuff for my zip drive. Exactly.
Oh, Ernie porn. That's not good. Yeah. Ooh,
Gary was there. He knows. Gary had the camera. It was wild. He was like,
he verified it. He did the blood test.
Gary.
Yow.
Gary.
No, that was a cool trip. Like I said, that I couldn't deal with the time aspect because I don't make those kind of trips anymore. But I'm glad you guys had a good time. Like I said, I know Doug, you do talk about that trip all the time. He loved it. He had a great time.
Did you hear that? Also in that trip, we ended up running into a couple of guys who were making their own little pilgrimage into the area at the Gygax Stone. And we're like, dudes, you're about to get the hookup of a lifetime.
Oh, yeah.
So then they got into a bunch of those games with us. They got into the James Ward game. They got into.
Oh, my. Do you remember their names? Anybody we might know? Or just
Bob Dot and Brian Merchant. Great bunch of guys.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
And they came talked them into NTRPG.
And they brought 2 more of their friends when they came.
Wow, it's a great community, man.
But
It's a great.
I love this because we had met them at the Gygax Stone, which why is there not a statue for that man yet? But anyway, but we were at the stone, and I know sore subject. Don't bring it up. Yeah, exactly.
Not a sore subject. It's just Eric and I are tired of dealing with it. Tired of talking about it.
But anyway, we were at the stone, and those young men were there to make the pilgrimage as well, and have their picture taken. I said, "Here, give me your camera. I'll take a picture for you, your phone." And we exchanged information. I gave them our card that had, which stupidly enough has my phone number on it. Well, they text me later and said, "Hey man, we'd love to hang out with you guys maybe tomorrow." And I said, "Boy, like Eddie said, you guys in luck. Meet us at this place for breakfast." So they were like, "Is that who I think it is?" That's right. That's who's the artist?
Prince.
Exactly, Prince.
Train conductor.
Exactly, yeah. Train conductor.
Oh, Tom Wong. Yeah, Tom
Wong was there. The artist, heavyset guy, comes to y'all's con every year. Used to and do paint.
Easily. Easily
was there.
Yeah, Jeff Easley. Yeah.
There was a couple other of the men of old. Was Mensner there? I mean, but yeah, they were just geeking like, "Oh wow!" And that's it gets better. You're going to get to play in a game with Jim Ward, and they were just like, "Oh." And what's hilarious, one of them got killed twice by Jim Ward, and he said, "Guys, I think this is a first. I don't think I've ever killed anybody twice in the same adventure." So one of those young men made gaming history with Jim.
There you go.
So,
Nice.
how cool.
Yeah, and I remember that one was we were like Space Marines thing in it. And of course we had Doug there, so we all fell in line.
Oh yeah, he was. He had us, lined out.
Harry says that Elmore was there. Are you sure it was
on duty? Shoot him! Shoot him in the face!
Wow.
Oh man.
Well, that's some of the most fun I ever had was trips with Doug. One year we went to Tyler Rose Con with Doug, and me, Doug, Zach, and Robert. We had a blast. We saw Jim Ward there too. I'll never forget that trip. That was an incredible trip. And yeah, I mean, that's the great thing about these small cons. The small cons are great because they create memories like this. Because it's all about just the people there. It's not about there's 18,000 people there, 30,000 people. It's just whoever's there, a couple hundred people, and you hang out and you have memories. It's just awesome.
Great memories.
Yeah. I don't really have any great memories about Long Con, but
that game with Ty Beard, that wasn't a good game.
It's okay. Ty's all right. Yeah, it's all right.
Maybe we'll have to start a midnight auction.
Yeah, maybe. I think I might dress up as an angel or something and dance around and caper.
That's so original. That's so original. Yeah, you can do that.
Hey, don't forget you can get your ultimate pass too, which will let you get into any game at the Long Con.
That's great. That's original too. Yeah.
Completely original idea.
These are all originals.
You imagine.
You MFers.
There are no new ideas.
That's right.
These guys
just ideas you stole from North Texas, but no new ideas.
Well, you know what is it? Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Sure. Or be your lazy MFer and you just can't think of it. Well, I will tell you, last time I was very excited last year to see that you had the one boardroom they had there was called the Doug Ray Memorial Room, which I thought was awesome.
Which we'll keep that going
we're
long as we have a conference room.
And we've got artwork in there, and
that's cool. Yeah, you had pictures and everything. It was really cool. It was very respectful. It was really nice. I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gary drank the old bar out of booze.
Crown and Jack Daniels. Good Lord.
He ran them dry.
No, that wasn't last year. Good.
Yeah. But I gotta say, I'll tell you one thing you probably appreciate, Mike. I don't remember what it was because again, my memory's not the best. But there was something that you guys always did a certain way, and me, we're like, man, that's bull, and we did it our own way. And then next thing you know, it completely blew up in our face, and we're like, that's why they do it that way,
I will say that we did trial and error a lot at the beginning, and we found out that some things we thought would be a great idea, and then we were like, nope, it sucked. And so that we did give some trial and error on some things. So we're glad that you could benefit from our mistakes by hopefully not doing that. So. Yeah, I can't remember I remember you were telling me about that. I can't remember what it was, but yeah, we had a few things that we just thought was going to be a great idea that just, like, okay, that didn't work out very good. I know one of the things, I remember one year Doug had this great idea, and I didn't sign off on this idea, I want you to know, but he thought it'd be great if we had 4 games in a room all from different eras. One was going to be Star Frontiers, one was Boot Hill, one was D&D, and one was Gamma World. And then it was going to be a 4-hour long event. And then 1 hour into it, everybody had to switch tables to the other table. And then an hour after that, they switched to the other table. An hour after that, to the other table. So they ended up working all the different characters. It was the same character in different worlds. And I thought, that sounds okay, whatever. Everybody hated it. They absolutely hated it because they're like, look, I wanted to sit down and play Boot Hill. Then an hour later, you asked me to stand up and walk over to another table. Or, Star Frontiers, whatever. So they only got to play an hour of the game. So it was one of those games that looked really cool on paper, like that's kind of cool or whatever. But when it came out, we never did it again because everybody felt like they lost 4 hours, like they wasted 4 hours. Like, well, I wasted it because we had to switch between tables, and the DMs weren't really prepared. They didn't have a coherent. I think it was like Steve Winter, Frank Mintz. I can't remember who they were, but they didn't have everything really, synced up very good.
Sounds like a cool idea, but the execution was.
Not very good. So that was one of the ideas that we thought would be really cool. That we're just like, yep, we're never doing that again. No, don't switch tables during the game. Don't switch tables. No, not good. If the guys come and sit down and want to play Boot Hill, give them Boot Hill. Don't give them Star Frontiers halfway through.
Best game of Boot Hill I ever played. I played it NTRPG with
the West Texas crew.
Yeah, with Ryan and Kelly and Steve and Mike. Oh, great game. The best game. So much fun.
Gary's going to be seeing them in a few weeks too. He said so. He's going to be heading out there to see what they're up to. The West Texas Sheriff's Department or whatever. They're all those guys.
Do a ride along.
Oh yeah, Gary's going to do a ride along. That's right. That's going to be fun. Hopefully,
doing the undercover.
He's going to remain safe because I can't run the con without him. So if he gets shot by a meth head, we're out. We might have to combine long con with North Texas at that point because I don't want to be doing that stuff. So it'll be nice to get more multiple gamers. So I will say ReaperCon was great this year. There was more RPGs than ever before. There was more RPG dealers than ever before. And I'm going to make a prediction here. ReaperCon is on the rise because the venue is wonderful. It's the nicest venue. It's the Denton Convention Center. They've been open 4 years, brand new. It's beautiful. The hotel's beautiful. I was really impressed by how well run ReaperCon was. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'd buy stock in ReaperCon, man. They're going to do really good in the years to come, and I wouldn't mind running a game there. I'm definitely going to be there next year too. This year, Frog God Games and I split a booth. We're each going to have our own booths next year because it was really good. You guys need to come in for. Well, Matt was there for ReaperCon, but you guys definitely need to come in for ReaperCon. I was really impressed by what they did.
I was busy being happily married.
Yeah. I was going to say one thing was ripping off of what you were talking about earlier about people ready to come out yet. Maybe they weren't ready when North Texas was running. There was a number of people that I met because I never met a stranger, and I was talking to a lady that was from somewhere out northeast or whatever, and she said, "Oh yeah, I've always wanted to come to ReaperCon, but then COVID happened and all that stuff." But yeah, I mean, she came out for ReaperCon, blah, 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 and some other people. Yes, I think people are starting to be more comfortable. So,
let me tell you a funny story. So Ty Beard's not here, so we're going to rip on Ty Beard. Actually, we're not going to rip on him, but this was Ty Beard's sad weekend at ReaperCon. So he wanted to come out there and see us all, which is awesome. We love Ty. We love to see Ty and talk to him. So he makes a reservation last minute on the phone. They tell him it's like $300 something. He's like, okay, well, that's like the whole weekend, whatever. So he goes there. So after the first night, he's locked out of his room, and he goes down. And he goes, "I don't understand. I paid for it." She goes, "Oh no, that's just for one night." Because it turned out he got so he didn't get the room rate. So the rooms at that place are like $300 a night if you don't get the room rate because it's a beautiful hotel.
Oh yeah, no, I ordered a drink and I didn't think to ask how much it was. I was like, "Hey, make me a rusty nail." That rusty nail was
and so he got his ass kicked on the hotel room, which okay, so he ends up paying for the rest of it. He's a wealthy lawyer, right? He can afford it. So Saturday night we're sitting there in the room or in the bar, and we're talking and drinking, and Ty and I are getting to we don't really get to spend a lot of time together. We're just having a great old time talking about life and philosophy and war games, this, that. And so the next morning he goes out to his car, and his car is weird. Well, his catalytic converter got stolen off the car that night while we were in there taking a drink. And we look up his car on the list. His car is like number 3 on catalytic converters stolen out of, because that is a huge thing now. Everybody's stealing catalytic converters because they sell them on the black market.
Gary
And it
knows.
turns out,
Yeah,
the
Gary
high-
knows.
yep. And so it got stolen out of the car. Yeah, Gary had his stolen too. And so Ty got his catalytic. So we said, this is the most expensive ReaperCon anybody's ever been to, because Ty ended up having to have his car towed back to Tyler. And then he ended up, I think he drove an Uber, like $150 Uber ride back to Tyler. He had to get another catalytic converter, and then he had to spend a lot of money for ReaperCon. So, oh, yeah, that's right. Gary's got sold in North Texas, because they will roll in there. They can take those things off in like 5 minutes, and you're done. So,
I heard from a cop that they've got it down to it's not. One guy will roll up real close to the vehicle. Guy jumps out, rolls under with a sawzall, and just zip, and they'll be gone in like under 2 minutes.
And there's like 10 brands that are the most stolen because they're that easy to get under. They're super easy just to roll under, whatever. And so, yeah, apparently now, if you have a more recent car, it's a little harder to steal them. They're covering them a little bit. But I think it's like the years 2006 to 16. If you have one of those cars, you're screwed. You're going to get your catalytic converter stolen at some point. So
I never really thought about this as a brag, but we have 0 catalytic converter thefts at the Long Con currently.
There you go.
currently, that you know of, yes, that you know.
That
You might
was
get
reported to
shot, but yeah.
Oh. No, but so that was Ty's sad weekend at ReaperCon. But I think he had a good time besides the huge outlay of funds. But I felt terrible for him Sunday morning.
That's
when
awful.
it was bad. It was bad because he has to take he's got to go back to Tyler. So he can't drive his car back. He has to get that towed. He had to get an Uber was cheaper than he was going to fly back. An Uber was cheaper than a flight, so he just got an Uber.
I wish I'd known. I could have given him a ride to Tyler.
I didn't think, we didn't think about it at the time, but it worked out okay. He's a rich lawyer. He can spend money.
Hey.
Yeah.
Driving.
He's a wealthy lawyer. Yeah. So RPG. So Long Con is going to be in November, a second weekend in November, right?
Yeah.
First weekend.
11th, 12th, and 13th.
Second weekend in November. If you're in Texas, or if you're not in Texas, if you want to fly into DFW, it's an hour and a half drive from DFW. It's going to be great. It has a very North Texas feel to it. Very just laid back and fun. And these guys are, as you saw by our show tonight, they're hilarious. They're just laid back. We just have a great time with them.
Oh, we're going to do a live show for the first time at this one. You're going to get a podcast live show Saturday night. So I'll announce that here.
What is it? Is this burlesque or something, or what are you guys going to be doing?
Your brother's going to be there, so what do you think?
Could be. Yeah.
I don't think I'll tune in for that one. Thanks very much.
You've seen his.
Yeah, I've seen enough of him in Speedos.
You've seen enough of his thong.
Why would you encourage him? What is wrong with you guys?
You don't have to encourage him. What are you talking about? He's incorrigible.
He's his own encouragement.
So no, really, what's this live show about? What is it about? Is it the auction? You can do the auction live?
No, we're still gonna have our little raffle because we're not cool enough to do an auction yet.
You're looking to give me a stinky look because I'm not one to caper. We're not gonna steal everything from you guys.
We need to. We need to clear out our warehouse.
That's true.
Why don't you steal? You know what? Steal the whiskey tasting. We'll let you steal that. You can steal the whiskey tasting.
It might be a vodka tasting. There we go.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, there you go.
Barbecue
sauce on it. There, I like that.
But anyway, so yeah, check this con out. We're happy to promote Old School because as you might have heard if you watch our show lately, the OSR is dying or it's dead or dying. It's just
dead.
It's dead. There's the flies coming off it. There's maggots. The OSR is going to die. So you might as well get this con in before the OSR is completely dead.
Before it's all dead.
Yeah, it's good. It's soon, but before you know it, it's going to be dying or dead. So
with all these pork loin sandwiches, we're a dying breed.
Yeah, I don't even know what Eric and I are going to do next year. We're going to have to find something to talk about because the OSR is not going to be here. So.
We'll reminisce about the OSR.
Speaking of the OSR, though, are we going to have Conley on next week, Eric? Do we know this or not?
I have no idea who I have on next week.
Well, I tell you what, if we don't have him on next week, we need to do our 10 best 10 best OSR adventures.
All right.
I've got mine ready to roll. I've got my list here. I've narrowed it down. I've got some examples here on the table. And so we're going to prove the OSR is not quite dead. It's like the dead parrot sketch.
Oh, or Monty Python. I ain't quite dead yet. Bring it. I ain't quite dead yet. You will be.
That's one deceased parrot. No, the OSR is still going strong. So, but yeah, we're gonna do an OSR related show. We're gonna try to do more OSR related shows. We're gonna try to have more OSR creators on. We're gonna try to have highlight conventions like this, smaller conventions that have OSR type games. Now, I'm not saying you guys really are an OSR convention. I mean, you do a lot of DCC, a lot of 5e stuff like that, but you do have old school games.
DCC is OSR.
Thank you, Eric. Yeah. Thanks, Eric.
And we've got more DCC than we've got 5th edition. So
yeah,
now.
5th edition will be OSR in like another year.
Wait a second. Goodman Games just came out with their top 10 OSR list, the YouTube channel. Okay, I got to see this. And they better not. They're not going to cover anything that I covered though, because my list is more kick ass than theirs.
Oh,
now I got to look this shit up. Good Lord.
Look it up.
Look it up, bub.
Goodman. What do I look up?
Look it up after the show. Look it up after the show.
OSR list. Yeah, I want to see this.
After the show.
God, it's not just you guys.
Hey.
Goodman Games are trying to copy us now too. Good Lord.
They did it. We've been talking about it. They did it first. You got to give them credit. I give them credit.
What is
Don't
the
worry
deal?
about it, Mike. Mike,
Oh,
you're not.
sorry.
You're not Joe Goodman. Don't
All right.
worry about it,
Love Joe. I love Joe. Joe's good.
folks. Huge thank you to the Long Con guys, Matt and Eddie. Really do appreciate it. Fun time. I've probably seen them at North Texas and didn't even realize where I knew them from. But
Your dreams.
well, don't tell my wife that.
Oh,
I'll
ouch.
keep that our little secret.
Ooh.
Like I said, I shade for this show because I was coming in real thick.
You
I
were
didn't want to
good.
be in competition with either of you gentlemen.
We've got good beard
Mark, I
game.
can always be in competition with. That's
Got
fine.
beard game.
But as always, folks, the normal spiel. It's no longer a pandemic; it's an endemic. Use your common sense. I'm not your father. I'm not gonna wipe your hiney. So take care of yourself. Be safe. Be well. God bless. Roll those dice. Roll them well. I'll be back again tomorrow with some random shite. Friday live stream at 8 p.m. with Glenn Hallstrom. Saturday 8 p.m. Gamers Health with my wife Rach. And
Real quick,
maybe Denise.
let me throw something in real quick. I'm sorry, I was going to bring this up earlier.
Yeah.
Contact with James Raggy has been made, and he is thumbs up for North Texas next year.
Awesome.
That's something just people listening know. That is on the down low.
my book.
North
I want my
Texas
book for Indigo.
has 500 people. So don't wait too long.
Indiegogo.
Yes.
Indiegogo. Where's my book?
He is also
Yeah.
okay with Texas. Coming to Texas.
You missed the live stream 2 weeks ago this coming Friday when we had James on?
Yes.
Yeah, you missed it. We asked James was asked about it.
No, he's great.
So
All right, I'm sorry.
By the way,
Go
warning,
ahead.
it's a 3-hour live stream. So, before you go into it, have
It's
a full
awesome.
bottle, have a pee bag or something like that because you're going to be a long one. All right, folks. On that note, we'll catch you later.
Later.